Hello, all of you survivors out there. I'm your host, Get Good Fox. Welcome back to State of Decay 2, the Hyper Community World Tour, where we are going to be reviewing this base here, Tranquility Factory. How good is Tranquility Factory? That is going to be the big question. So this base is a solidly mid-game base right here on the map. If you zoom out, you'll see that it's in the southwest. It's basically over by Marshall. Right across the river, there's actually another base not that far away, Fort Marshall right here. Pretty close together, and then you got the farmland compound right smack dab in the middle of the map. So, this is very much a solidly mid-game base, and that's because it takes 5 people to move in. You need 1,000 influence, and honestly, what you get isn't half bad. Let's take a look. So, the base, while not truly maxed out, it's built up sufficiently. Once this is done, we will be able to upgrade the lounge to whatever the level is going to be, the third level. But what you're looking at is 2 large facilities to customize and 4 small facilities to customize. One of the nice features of this base is that you do get 2 outdoor and 2 indoor, so that you're not really screwed. Like, basically, if you wanted to have 2 crafting stills, you could have 2 crafting stills because they are outdoor located. Crafting stills are outdoor exclusives. Let's go ahead and get that maxed out. And this base does have kind of the magic number of what this is kind of like the mid-game magic number. You know, it's the 2-4, 2 large, 4 small. If you could get more, sure, it's nice. Like Weston Builder Supply is 2 large, 6 small. That's insane. That's absolutely fantastic. But for the mid-game, I think this is actually just fine. I think it's the 2-4 is great because anything more than this is kind of a luxury. I'm not saying that you don't want luxuries, but I'm just talking about, like, getting things going. This is great. And let's take a look at what I've built. So you got a trade depot and a lounge. This is the big 2 right here. I don't think you could do much better than this I don't know if you can. I don't think you can do better than this on 2 large facilities. The lounge, bam, owns all of your morale problems, and it allows you to auto-train your EXP up to the max once you get to level 3. Trade Depot lets you solve all of your resource problems, not as quickly due to the nerf, takes about 2 hours for the ability to recharge. Still extremely powerful though, and you can reduce it with radio cooldowns like cell towers. Then for the small facilities, you got the 2 big essential ones, Infirmary, Workshop, you know, heal from your injuries, heal your vehicle basically. And then you got your 2 buff choices. You got Fighting Gym. Fighting Gym is giving you the extra health and the fighting EXP. Remember, leveling up fighting gives you more health. So this is mega health. Now, we don't have the mod for it, but if you had the mod, you'd be able to plug in either a 10 health mod or a 5 health, 5 stamina mod. Absolutely insane. That could give you basically either 30 health. That's great. Or you can get 25 health, 5 stamina. That's also really great. Then you got the shooting range over here. The shooting range is going to give you more stamina and lets you level up your shooting faster. That's not as essential. The stamina is still very helpful though. 20 stamina is quite nice. And that, like I said, I don't think you can do a whole lot better than that. You're not going to need beds, because beds are bad for starters. But the lounge is going to solve all of your morale issues. You're not going to need like a latrine or anything, because the lounge is going to solve all of your morale problems. You do not need to get like a garden or anything, because you can just build more of these. Each of these are 2 food on lethal zone, so you can have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 food right now, and if you want, you could bump them up. But even then, 10 food per day, that's already more than what a garden is going to give you. And honestly, the other ones aren't really that valuable. Like, I really don't build too many. The only outposts I really build these days are food outposts, cell towers, and landmarks. Now, what do you got for the built-in features? So we've got ourselves, good old normal everyday command center, nothing fancy here. Got a factory storage. Factory storage is a base 35 to all resource storage, and then you get plus 20 to everything else. So altogether, you're going to be looking at about, I don't know, like 75-ish, or no, 55-ish storage to everything. That's pretty good. 55, it's plenty of storage. You're not going to overrun your capacity on too many things. Obviously, I'm overrunning my materials because we did move in from a smaller base. Whatever, I can live with it. It's fine, I can live with it. Over here, you got the meditation garden. And let's actually like physically go to the meditation garden actually. So what the meditation garden is, it is a one-of-a-kind, unique version of the, what do you call it, the normal garden. What it does is it kind of combines some of the features of a garden and some of the features of a lounge together. I actually don't even know how to get to it. It's somewhere in the base. I think it's up here. Pretty sure it's up here. And what it does is, one, you cannot upgrade it. And you can see right here, someone is already messing with the Zen Garden.
You're alive. Yay for you.
And so what the Zen Garden does is, it is a level 2 garden. It cannot be upgraded. You are stuck at level 2. And that means it's going to produce 2 medicine per day. Another thing you can't do at the Zen Garden is change it from medicine to food. It's stuck on medicine. Because that's just the way it works. Like I said, it's a very unique facility. Now, what you can do is bump some things up. Like the reason why we're getting 3 meds per day is because we actually gardened. You got meditative gardening. This is basically a different version of overseeding the garden. It doesn't cost any seeds, but it takes a long time to do. So it takes 22 minutes to do this instead of like just a few minutes. But then when you do it, you get the 50% more medicine. That's how we're getting 3. We're getting 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you get more morale because you're supposed to be kind of like, oh, you're tending your garden, makes you feel better, etc. And then, of course, you get some built-in bonuses because, like, it's also kind of a bit of a lounge. Place to relax is basically a lounge benefit. Like, you can actually compare it right over here. You see right there, you got place to relax. And then you also see you got this one here I don't have, space for creativity. And you'll see right over here, once again, you got that space for creativity. So it features some of the abilities of a garden and some of the abilities of a lounge, but it's not as good as a lounge and it's not as good as a fully upgraded garden, like a level 3 garden or a hydroponics. You also can schedule a break. I don't think scheduling a break, it's kind of annoying. You have to activate it really frequently. It does give you a little bit of morale. I guess you could do it in the event. It's only 3 morale as well, but you do get a mod slot. You could either choose to put in a food-based one. The fertilizer is going to be useless, though, because it only affects food, not medicine. But you absolutely could. You eke out a little more medicine. What I will say is 3 medicine per day. That is enough to pay for the infirmary, because the infirmary does cost 2 food per day. Now let's go ahead and try this stuff here. So, we also have the factory incinerator. I said I would use it, so let's go ahead and hit the button. Actually, let me read the effects. So, the factory incinerator is going to give us 25 morale for 45 minutes. That's a big chunk of morale. That is basically equivalent to the lounge level 3, which would get the movie night. Movie night is 25 morale to everybody. So you get 25 morale, and then you get 5 more storage to everything. That's like a pretty negligible bonus. Like that just doesn't really matter. And what you have to pay, though, is 1 of every resource. 1 ammo, 1 fuel, 1 medicine, 1 food, 1 materials. Is that worth 25 morale? I mean, I guess it depends on your situation. I would say probably not, but I'm going to go ahead and activate it just so that you guys can see it. And yeah, that's what you get in the base overall. So let's talk about what I think about Tranquility Factory. And in the meantime, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to hit up some looting locations like this fuel. I always need more fuel. So Tranquility Factory is the first base that gives you, like I said, kind of like the magic facility numbers. 2 large, 4 small. And as a result, it is a pretty good base. There's no doubt about that. The big question, basically, like, why don't I just move into Tranquility Base or Tranquility Factory right now? The only reason that there is a counter argument to it is because of the farmland compound. The farmland compound is the largest base in the area, which is weird because you only need 6 people to move in. But that's one of the pluses to it. You only need 6 people. 1 more person than Tranquility Factory, right? And the catch is that the farmland compound does cost 3,500 influence. So the big question is, you start in Checkpoint Delta, and you got some choices. You clear out Checkpoint Delta, and you're ready. You can either move into Pterodactyl Park. I think Pterodactyl Park is a great move because it's simple, it's cheap, it only takes 4 people. It's an easy escape from Checkpoint Delta. But if you wanted to, you absolutely could go to 5 people and instead take Tranquility Factory. Tranquility Factory is definitely going to give you a lot more than Pterodactyl Park.
Looks quiet for now.
But, like I said, okay, so there's different strokes here. It really depends on what you want to do, because, like, I would say the base progression on this map is Checkpoint Delta into either Pterodactyl Park or Tranquility Factory, and then into the farmland compound. I think that is a great progression. Now, you could... That's not saying that you couldn't do something like skip directly from Checkpoint Delta into the farm compound. It's possible. It's a little bit more rough because you will have to triple your... Oh, there we go. Burn stuff is done. So as you can see, we did get a pretty significant jump in morale. And that's because of burn stuff right there. Burn some stuff. I wish it was a little longer. I feel like that's kind of short for using up so many resources. But we did get quite the bump there. And we won't be able to use this for another 45 minutes, basically for the duration. It also allows us to plug something in, so we can plug like a comfy chair. Yeah, you know, like get on your comfy chair and watch stuff burn. But, like, those are the progressions that I'd say. You could also do Pterodactyl Park into Tranquility Factory into Farmland Compound. I feel like that isn't necessary, though. I feel like at that point you would be wasting a little bit of influence trying to do that. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't. But here's the big question. Checkpoint Delta really stinks, and you want to get out of it, especially on a higher difficulty. Checkpoint Delta is a problem, especially on Lethal Zone, because you really need 3 small facilities in the beginning of the game to kind of have your initial stuff squared away. You have to give something up. And what do you have to give up? You're either giving up morale in the form of a... Maybe it's on the roof. You're either giving up morale in the form of a latrine, or you're giving up repairs in the form of a workshop, or you're going to give up safety in the form of a gym. You're going to give up the gym, and you're not going to have as much health. So that really stinks. In a typical base, you could, in a normal starting base, you'd have 3 small facilities. So you could do infirmary, workshop, and then your choice of either gym if you're concerned about health, or latrine if morale is more your concern. I don't know where this last collectible is. We'll look around a little harder. And that's why you want to get out of Checkpoint Delta. So the big question is, are you okay with getting 1 extra survivor and 500 more influence to get into Tranquility Factory? If that doesn't bother you, if you're like, I can deal with the restrictions of Checkpoint Delta, then go for it. Go Checkpoint Delta, skip the Pterodactyl Park, and go directly into Tranquility Factory. But if you're like, oh man, I just want out of here immediately, and that's not an unfair thing. Like, I often just want to get out and get right into Pterodactyl Park, then absolutely. Like, just recruit 1 person. 500 influence is not too hard to make, so, you know, not even a big deal. I literally have no idea. Oh, there it is. That's why I missed it. And then you could just do that instead. I think both are perfectly fine. So, that is the only issue I have with Tranquility Factory. Like, overall, fantastic base, but the thing is that the Pterodactyl Park is also really good. It's very different from Rusty Rosie's in the sense that the Rusty Rosie's doesn't have... Because Rusty Rosie is very similar to Tranquility Factory. They're both like, although Rusty Rosie's, I believe, is a 4-man base. So I think it's 4-man, it's either 4-man 500, 4-man 1000. Either way, it's really easy to get into that base. So there are definitely some differences. There should be more fuel over here by the, where Tressie is. And the issue is that, like, Rusty Rosie's, it doesn't have anything simpler than it. It is the simplest base. And that's one of the big deals there, is that although the Tranquility Factory is really good, I really like it, I definitely recommend it, it does actually have competition. And I actually would say that's probably good game design. I would say it's probably good that the first base out of Checkpoint Delta, it is kind of unclear which one you should take. And I think there's an argument for them both. I don't really think there's much of a reason to use them in the same playthrough, unless you just feel like it. I'm talking about from a purely strategic perspective. I would say, if you move into Pterodactyl Park, I don't think there's any reason to then move into Tranquility Factory. I think you would just go directly into the best base after that. You're just using that mid-game base, because that's it's in the name. It's a mid-game base. You're just using that as a pit stop to help you jump into the final base.
Thanks for coming. I got chased in here by some Zeds, and I didn't feel safe on my own.
Well, whatever you say. I'm trying to, like...
I need help clearing out some Zeds before... Good.
Whatever you say. I'm just here to, like, get some fuel.
Lead on. Zed, coming this way.
Give them the stab. Oh, looks like we got some screamers over there. We're gonna probably just burn them now. These screamers are probably gonna ruin everything. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume that the screamers are just gonna ruin absolutely everything. Did I not? I don't think I burned them. Tressie is immortal, so like maybe it'll be fine. Oh god. There's a sting, meaning that a horde detected us, so. Well, I'll see you later, Tressie. I'm just saying, you might want to, like, get away from there. I'm heading over here to where it's safe. Yep, you can just hang out right over there, Tressie. Go get him, girl. You got him. And she stopped following me, even smarter. I love the go get him attitude. You know, just like, she could take on the world there. Take on all the zombies in the world. Why are there screamers everywhere? I just want a place that doesn't have screamers. It's too much to ask for, apparently. Maybe they didn't hear it. Oh. I think oh, we are in the protective area of my outpost, so it's possible that they just didn't hear it. Oh, never mind, they heard it. And just like that, my review is like totally derailed by all of the zombies. Gravy. That's why these are casual reviews, though. These are not like serious reviews. If this was a serious review, I would not be recording during live gameplay. I would record my footage, write a script, and then I would do the reviews separately. There we go. Let's get rid of these guys now. I see you made it, Tressie. Well, like I said, she's immortal, so.
Okay, I just need a second to look around for something.
Yep, whatever you say, Tressie.
It looks useful.
This is the old courthouse, like I said in another episode. One of the State of Decay 1 enclaves used to stay here. They get owned, though. Presumably because they weren't allowed to have guns. I guess that was the whole idea.
You don't explore Marshall? There's something you need to see.
Bingo. Okie dokes.
I'll mark the location on your map. It's not far.
I really wanted to get the fuel from that location, but it looks like the game disagrees. But the, so, getting back on topic, and we're about to get interrupted by Tressie again, which is kind of the reason why I stopped, because I know she's going to have a lot of chatter. The only downside of the Pterodactyl Park is that you don't get two large facilities. The lack of the two large facilities, it means that you have to pick between
Relax.
training your
Totally
characters
completely safe.
Got it.
or building up your supplies. Because, like, here's the thing. If you rocket your way into the farmland compound, well, like, in the beginning of the game, you are not going to have the building materials for it unless it's, like, you know, kind of a playthrough that you loaded in.
Scrape it off.
We got a feral, do we?
Poison cloud.
Oh, now I'm on fire. Everyone's on fire. Well, it's a party now. Oh, no, the feral died. It was a party. But yeah, you really want those two large facilities because they let you solve two of the biggest mid-game problems. What are your mid-game problems? Well, you know, you need supplies to build your base. A lot of them on Lethal Zone. Remember that the building costs are like, I think they're tripled on Lethal Zone. It's a lot. So that's why you want a trade depot. Well, the other thing though is that you also want to get your characters trained up. You know, you don't want to send like noobs in the battle. You want to have these guys with some great combos. You're trying to find like really good relevant skills. Like you want Powerhouse. Powerhouse is a great skill. And the best way to do that is, especially once again on Lethal Zone, remember you take a big penalty to your EXP. You get very little EXP on
They threw everything
Lethal
at
Zone.
walls, but nothing worked.
And the best way to train your characters on Lethal Zone is to use a Lounge Level 3, because the Lounge Level 3, it trains everybody simultaneously, and it gives you more morale. And remember, the more morale you have, the more EXP you gain. So if you look right here in our morale, we are empowered at the moment. The only thing higher is enthusiastic. And you can see right here, we get a 50% EXP rate. So more EXP, but also 100% facility action speed. And it is a facility action that is causing the training to occur. So not only do you get more EXP, but the training happens faster. So you're able to train faster and gain more EXP per training, and that's why the lounge solves all of those problems for you. And if you don't have two large facilities, you can't do them at the same time. You would have to basically uninstall and reinstall them, and that honestly is a pain because not only would you have to change leaders frequently. Uh-oh. Well, tell me I'm stuck. Okay. No, I'm not going for that last one. I want to get stuck. Not only would you have to switch leaders back and forth because you only have one large slot, meaning you'll have to go trader, sheriff, trader, sheriff, trader, sheriff, trader, sheriff in order to get both. But on top of that, the lounge has 3 levels of construction. Lounge level 1, lounge level 2, lounge level 3. Like, it's no joke. Like, and it takes a while to build. And it needs a lot of building materials. Lounge level 3 is like 30 materials on Lethal Zone. It does not play around. And so you're probably going to need the trade depot just to get the building materials to build the lounge. And so it's one of those things where you just keep, if you don't have 2, then you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's basically just the way it works. And with Tranquility Factory, you can have your cake and eat it too. With Pterodactyl Park, you unfortunately cannot. And that's really the big difference there.
Marshall is plenty dangerous.
Now what Pterodactyl Park gives you is a 5th small facility. However, especially in the mid-game, I just don't really see that as super important. You could use it, you could make a crafting still, and with a crafting still, you could make beer. You could sell the beer. If you've got knowledge of alcoholic beverages, you can make even more out of it, make an extra 100 per beer brewing. But I feel like I'm not saying that's a perfectly good option. And here's the thing: if you move into the Pterodactyl Park, you absolutely would want to try to do it, but you might not be able to because you do need chemistry. Now you could start with chemistry. You could recruit someone with chemistry. But you know, you are trying to get 4 people into the base, and it just might not. It might not pan out. So, in other words, I feel like 1 large, 5 small. I just don't think that's just not as good as 2 large, 4 small, and that's because, while once again you do get some of the benefits of beer brewing, ethanol crafting, strong painkillers, selling beer, selling strong painkillers, and it's a good bonus. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It might be too premature. because you might not have all the equipment necessary. You know, you do need a bunch of little pieces of the puzzle to really get the most out of the crafting still. But it is worth going for. But the main problem, once again, is I don't feel like that extra bit of influence is going to be worth not being able to farm both building materials and EXP and morale from having too large. So, you know, I don't. It's actually kind of interesting. As I'm talking about this, I'm kind of like, I'm starting to increase my value of that. That's why I like talking about it, though. I'm actually increasing my respect for Tranquility Factory as I'm discussing this, because normally my go-to plan is to just go into Pterodactyl Park. But the more I'm talking about it out loud, the more I'm like, I don't know, maybe it is worth it to skip Pterodactyl Park. And because I just want to get out of Checkpoint Delta because it's just such a crummy base. But maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe the right move is Tranquility Factory, because the more I'm saying it out loud and the more I'm kind of like affirming the core tactics of the game, the more I'm like, you know what? I am convinced by my own argument here. And maybe next time I play Trumbull Valley on Lethal Zone, especially from a fresh start, I'm going to try that. I'm going to see how inconvenient is it to go from Checkpoint Delta into Tranquility Factory, because there are ways that you can make it more comfortable. How could you make it more comfortable? Well, one thing you could do is get two enclaves to Allied so that you could recruit them back to back and just move in. You know, you don't care about their stats, you don't care about anything else about them. And if having too many people is too much of a food depletion, then kick one of them out. Or if it's too much of a morale hit, kick them out. Because remember, on Lethal Zone, you are taking the minus 30 morale per day. That is definitely one way you could do it. Yes, you would have to stay in Checkpoint Delta a little longer. But one of the upsides to a fresh start is that even Lethal Zone can be curiously peaceful. I have streamed Lethal Zone, and people are like, is this really Lethal Zone? Like, you know, I hardly see any enemies anywhere, because like I said, it can be, at times, surprisingly peaceful. And you can do that by manipulating your standing. By manipulating your standing, I mean going out of your way to only complete quests that are really valuable, and only killing freaks if it's absolutely necessary. Especially not Juggernauts, especially not Ferals, because Ferals and Juggernauts, they give you a lot of standing. If you kill some bloaters, not as big of a deal. You know, it's still, you wouldn't want to go out of your way to kill bloaters, and with bloaters, maybe you would walk up to them, get them to chase you, and then you would, wow, look at all these guys. Is that 3 separate groups of Juggernauts here? Jeez. They're not playing around right now. Holy crap. But yeah, that's one of the ways you could suppress your standing. By skipping kind of, you know, like unnecessary quests, because quests give you standing. Don't kill any Juggernauts. Don't kill any Ferals. Like if a Feral's chasing you, just lose them. Lure them to one of your allies and drive away. You know, jump them on it, jump them with your allies. You know, you can help them fight a little bit, but make sure your allies take them out. But there's a bunch of things you could do to get rid of a Feral without having to kill it. Same with the Juggernaut. You could do things to like lure it away, you know, and then drive away, because like the Juggernaut's not very fast. And those are all little things that you could do in order to avoid getting standing. And if you do that, the game will stay surprisingly peaceful for a longer amount of time. And if you do that, then maybe Checkpoint Delta, the extended stay there, as you are gathering more people, maybe it won't even be that bad. Man, look at this haul. This haul is pretty nice. Repair kits, fuel, looking very awesome. Somebody needs help. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is quickly let these guys get owned. So I have been ignoring these hostile humans, and that is a perfectly fine thing to do. And the reason for that is because these guys are about to get owned by a quest.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Oh, looks like I can't take coffee until it wears off. Oh, well. As long as they get owned, it'll be fine. So we're just going to drive over here and let the quest own these guys. That's yet another reason why you don't always need to deal with hostile humans. If you wait long enough, the game will take them out for you. Like either the crossbow killer will get them, or the zombies will get them. And because this is not a mysterious quest, I know that it's the zombies that it's going to get them. And you still get their loot. You know, it's not like, oh, well, I don't get their loot. No, you actually get more loot. We're going to get the loot for all of them, and we're going to get a quest completion. So a little bit of quest influence for this as well.
Shit, I'm fucking dead, bro!
I see somebody in trouble over there.
I hope that guy's like, I'm dead, bro! Unfortunately, it's a little cramped in here, so there is a good chance that something could go wrong in here. Let me go ahead and honk, though, and lure them all out. And all we gotta do is just, run all of their zombified forms over. If they're gonna come out and play, at least. Well, let's find out where they are. I didn't want to get out because it is going to beat up our stamina. Because as you can see, our characters are tired. So that's one of them zombified.
Well, I guess Christmas just came early.
They say if you forget the past,
Here's another one.
that case.
So we got 130 influence, and look at this. See, they're zombified. Well, I can just loot them. So by not killing them, I didn't have to bother with it. I just got 130 influence, and look at this. I get all of their loot too. I just get the win. You want to be a winner? This is how you can just win. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take out the hostile humans, you know, when it's convenient, but you don't have to, because I mean, who are they hurting? They were literally just in this factory. I guess you could say, hey, they're occupying a place I want to loot. Maybe, you know, maybe there is. That's a thing. But you can just take them. If you don't take them out, sometimes the game takes them out for you. There's really two possibilities. You can either have a zombies own them, or crossbow killer gets them. And one way or the other, you get to be the winner. And how much effort did it take? Remember, the key to beating Lethal Zone is to play smarter, not necessarily to play harder. Playing harder is certainly a help, and being good at the game is a big help. Like, you don't want to be bad at the game, but you don't have to be like God tier at the game. Like me, I'm not an esports player. I don't have esports level accuracy. I don't have like esports level moves, and yet I do extremely well on the Lethal Zone simply by being sufficiently good and being really smart at the game. And it works with or without the DLC. There are numerous Twitch playthroughs where we've done hardcore starts. Maybe it takes a few extra in-game days to win, but the result is the same. Anyways, hope you enjoyed today's review of Tranquility Factory, as well as some useful tips. We're going to be moving into, I guess, Fort Marshall next. Hopefully I have the money for it. Yeah, I've got 3,600. Yeah, we're going to need a little more money, but we have ways to make money. Let me see if I can call someone in. And yeah, we're going to go into Fort Marshall. We'll build it up. Then we will go to Farmland Compound. We also got to take the landmark location. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you like Tranquility Factory? Also, there's the big question. What do you think is a better idea? Checkpoint Delta into Tranquility Factory, or Checkpoint Delta into... I can't even think of it now. Checkpoint Delta into the Pterodactyl Park. Which do you think is the better path of progression in the game? Do you think it's better to suffer in Checkpoint Delta longer and invite the possibility of something going wrong, you know, the deprivation of resources, all of that, longer, and go into Tranquility Factory where you get the very fantastic too large for small, or do you just get out ASAP, get out of that dangerous area, and get into the Pterodactyl Park for the still good but much less optimal 5-4. Also, while there are other bases that have a 1-5 setup, keep in mind that the reason why the Pterodactyl Park is good with a 1-5 setup is because it's a very small base. Any base that is 5-man or 1,000 influence, anything more than the Pterodactyl Park and a 1.5 is now awful. Because any base larger than like a bridge fort or a Pterodactyl Park, it's got to have 2 large facilities to be good. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Tell me if you are a Tranquility Factory enjoyer, or tell me which one you think is the better move into. Subscribe to my channel for more State of Decay 2 content and the continuation of these casual-based reviews. But at the end of the day, of course, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.